Okay, it's Saturday night again, and I did a bunch of laundry, and I got some groceries, and I bought some whiskey. But I won't get to taste that whiskey tonight because I still have a bunch of samples for this month of October. Well, it, for me, it's only October tomorrow, but by the time you see this, you're almost halfway through October. Thought I'd do something different this time because I was sent something different by my friend Jackass in Minnesota. He sent me some cognac. And this here is a Hennessy very special. I quickly looked at it's a miniature, it's just a little guy. I quickly looked at the website and read a little bit about cognac. In order for it to be very special, it's got to be 40, well, it's got to be 4 years old. It doesn't necessarily have to be 40% alcohol by volume, but it helps. This one's at 40%. It's very special. It's at least 4 years old from what I can gather. And my experience with cognac is relatively limited, so I'm going to give this a try. I don't have a brandy snifter, so I'm going to use a Glencairn glass. I might be completely wrong about this, but I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to open this little miniature right now, like so. And I'm going to pour it in the Glencairn. There's your standard 50 milliliters. Here's the bottle of Hennessy Cognac. And I'm probably going to reuse it to send a sample of something back to Jackass. But I'll work on that as I go. I have a glass of water here. I've had 2 gin and tonics to cool me down. I have the door open to cool me down, but I shut the fan off so that I can you can hear me. How's that? Now, I'm nosing this for the first time. I don't know anything about cognac. It's not something that I ever got into, but what am I smelling? Cognac or brandy is basically wine. I think the history is like this. They had several years of wine that was not so good. Several vintages that was not so good. This was back in France, back in the 16 or 1700s. I don't have my numbers right, I don't have my dates right, but I'll just give you the gist of it. What they did was they distilled the wine in order to make it better. To make something nice to drink out of bad wine. And so what they did was they distilled the bad wine and ended up with a spirit which they aged in barrels, and they called that brandy. And I guess they preferred it to the bad wine that they had. For whatever reason, it was bad. I know my explanation is kind of half-assed, but it's the gist of it. They didn't have such good wine, they wanted to make it something nice to drink, so they distilled it in hopes that it would be better, and they found out that they liked it. What I'm smelling here reminds me a little bit of something fruity. Grapes, wine, and Play-Doh. I'm getting that plasticine clay kind of thing. And wine. There's a little something nutty too. I don't know what kind of nut it would be. Acorns. I think it smells a bit like acorns. Okay, maybe I'll slow down and nose at half speed. I do have a tendency to nose things enthusiastically, as Sam Cox might attest. Yeah, some wine, some sweetness, some plasticine. I don't know. I'm thinking of clay modeling and making those stop action videos of clay animation. Is that a yeasty thing or what? I don't know. I have to shift my gears completely compared to whiskey when trying this. It's a different experience. I remember trying a cheaper Armagnac one time and not quite liking it. Now it seems to be opening up more. When I first nosed it, I wasn't getting much at all. Yeah, now I'm definitely getting more. There's a sweetness, there's a wine kind of note, a little bit of a chocolate, like a milk chocolate. I could get used to this. Now it's opening up some more, and I'm getting more and more nose out of it. There's nothing malty about it. It's all fruity and winey. Along with the chocolate note, there's a bit of a brown sugar note too. Brown sugar. Yeah, there's a brown sugar note. Who knows what kind of casks this was aged in? Was it rum cask? I don't know. Could be. That could account for the brown sugar. But I'm merely speculating once again, and when I speculate, I get into trouble. Some people don't think it's fun to see me speculate. Yeah, there's a little bit of that chocolate, yeasty, something fresh and fresh ripe fruit about it. That must be mostly from the grape, from the wine. Well, without any further ado, since we're near the 10-minute mark, I will give my palate another cleanse. And I will give this a taste. Mm. Mm. juicy. Juicy and sweet. Quite a bit sweet. This is bottled, I believe, at 40% alcohol by volume. In the aftertaste, it's like a char, like a barrel char. That's where I get the wood. Completely in the aftertaste. Charcoal, char, ashen. But at first it's sweet and fruity. I'm going to try this again, of course. A lot of fruit from the grapes. Very sweet. Mouth-watering. Mouth-watering all over. I'm still getting those notes of the grape, of the wine on the sides, sweetness to the sides of the mouth. On the tip of my tongue, there's a little bit of barrel char, or that's what it seems to me. Tiny little bit of bitterness. But this is a whole different experience. This is a new experience. This is just like tasting 30-year plus whiskey. It's entirely different from what I'm used to. And I'm no expert on gauging how good brandy is because this is the only one I've really had a taste of in a very long time. I mean, like the last time I tried some brandy was maybe 30 years ago, and my experience from back then would not be anything like my experience from now, because my palate has changed. It's become more experienced. It's tasted many whiskeys and beers. Not a lot of wines. I never really got into wines, and I've tried a few rums, but the few rums I've tried I didn't like. Maybe I didn't get any quality ones. But this, for all intents and purposes, it seems to agree with me more than the cheap rums that I have had. And this is not necessarily a very expensive brandy from what I can tell. It's not a big special thing. But from what I'm tasting here, it seems to me that if I should choose to branch out and try other cognacs, it could be an interesting exercise. And this here is, from what I can gather and from what I can taste, a quality spirit. Did you see that? There was a bug that went past me and flew up that way. It'll be back. It's attracted by the light, and of course I have the door open back there. So there's light in here, and the bugs come in. And this is like one of those long-legged bugs that's about that tall, and it's got these big wings. It could be mistaken for a fairy, but it's not a fairy because, see, I have a candle burning here, and they would get attracted to the candle after all the other lights are out and I'm in my bed sleeping back there. Back there. Yeah. And I found these insects dead in the candle because they got attracted by the flame and they got burnt up. Get these legs that are about this long and these wings. Anyway, I digressed, didn't I? So if that looked like an orb or a spirit or a fairy flying by, it was one of those long-legged bugs with wings that kind of flies around lights. I don't know what you call those. Do you call them daddy long legs or something? It's an interesting little bug. Yeah, from what I can tell, this is a quality spirit. And I'm going to slowly enjoy finishing this while I contemplate trying another. Sante.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Yeah.